I didn't leave enough room to really put a hood on this thing. Yet I squeezed it in. I don't even know if these wireless pulleys are going to work. I mean, in theory, they are made to look like pulleys, um, and kind of have a secret kind of mechanism inside them, you know, that controls all of this stuff. So we get rid of having to use belts anymore, and we still have a supercharger and things like that, and a water pump and things that you still would need. These things still get their pulleys rotated through a mechanism inside these actual, I guess what you would say would be an engine inside these little things that would be doing it. So now no longer do you just replace, or do you ever need to replace a belt. This obviously could still, the way I designed these, could still have a belt, like for a safety thing. I mean, I guess if this was a product that was being sold across the world, they probably would have the belt still there. But if your belt breaks in real life, you're kind of screwed. In this case, if your belt breaks, these would be still turning individually, so they don't really rely on the belt. The belt would be like a training wheel, and we're riding without training wheels on this machine. And that's if this thing even runs. I doubt it will. So what I did here was I took a 57 Bel Air that was plain and basic and breathed new life into it pretty much in my own little style. These rims I built myself too, custom. So that's why if you see this weird design, you'll be like, I've never seen rims look like that. Well, no, you haven't, because I designed them. You could also say you've never seen a 57 Bel Air look like this, because of little things that I put here. But, that's, this thing still looks like the classic to me a little bit. Um, anyway, we're going to fire this thing up. Um, Nothing to really see on the interior other than it looks fantastic for what it is. I mean, I think so. A lot of time in my test scenes, I, it's a lot of hard work, and there's a lot of stuff that's got to be done and worked out again and again and again, trial and error. So when I see something like this, when I'm testing something, I mean, I know that I'm going to be in a better mood working with it, and like just seeing how realistic this kind of looks to me is a breath of fresh air than if it was just a block with four little round spheres. I mean, I mean, it still kind of is. This is the block. These are the spheres. Although the purpose of this vehicle is going to drive on wheel colliders, Unity's wheel colliders, and it's going to compete against my full raycast system, and we're going to see how it goes. But the first thing I need to see if this thing can drive without flipping over and everything, because I did this very quick. Not the build. The build I did at another time. Getting this thing driving here, we're about to see in real time when I hit play. Um, I just felt like if it's going to fail, though, before I even get to test it, at least it looked good doing it. And here we go. How many errors? Oh, listen to your nasty ass, bro. Shut up, bro. Look at that. Did these things spin in here, though? Quick, we're not supposed to see in here, but. Oh, you do. You do. Wait, wait. I didn't check the butterflies. This stupid ass camera, bro. This is not. This is a test camera. It's not what you would use in a game, obviously. This thing might actually drive. Oh, this is a neat little thing. I don't know if my cursor's showing or not, but if not, I'm looking at the steering wheel here. You see that 800? That's the idle number right now. I put a digital RPM there. It's the only kind of futuristic thing I really... Well, unless we count these mirrors. You know, I did put my fancy movable mirrors on this thing, but I mean... In real life, you'd be able to reach your hand right there and move that mirror, okay? So I wanted to be able to have that. It's really the only electronic thing, and this, other than that supercharger we can kind of hear up there. I'm noticing the audio is quite loud, so we're just going to let it rip because I am not going... You can turn your volume down, okay? But we are going to see if I can get this thing to go into drive. I did make the needle do things, you know, so that goes there. And everything should work, hopefully. Calm down. Holy shit, that was so much louder than I had realized. I mean, I didn't realize it was going to be that loud. I probably should have turned the volume way down. Hopefully you did, because that shit was screaming. You know, it seemed like we needed another gear there, but in reality, this vehicle would not have that extra gear. So I think that's why I did that. But it is fun to drive, man. I mean, it probably didn't look like we were really going anywhere, but we were. We'll definitely be driving it in a scene where you can tell that we're moving somewhere. This is literally the scene that I just got this thing driving in, so it hasn't, you know, this was its first little drive. Quite cool. It's functional, which is the important thing, because if this thing is going to go up against the Raycast, or rather my Raycast is going to go up against this, I wanted to at least have a vehicle that was drivable. So, you know, at least it's got some pretty shoes, okay? Some pretty damn shoes. Bro, and they're not even laced. Look at that. That's just the real deal, man. This is me in my element right here. I don't actually know how to put it in park. Hold on. Just like the videos you see on YouTube, you know, when they're doing their exhaust test, bro. Bounce that mother off the rev. Alright. We're going to take it to the scene now and see how it performs, man, because, you know, I don't really know how this thing's going to do. And that's what we'll find out next. You know, there are times that I make things and I say, holy shit, that is so cool. I mean, I don't always say it out loud, but trust me, man, that was a fun time. Same running. Oh, much different than that. So, to keep my frames from, like, dying, golly, they're going to be low for this one. I've disabled the bottom mirrors there. I disabled... Well, I didn't disable it, doesn't look like. You know what? This one should be fine, though. I think it'll be fine running at 30. This one is so much quieter, bro. This is a real test audio right here. Quiet, you can hear yourself think. We'll switch that camera though to be at the front. I might have to turn the brightness down on the sun or something. Even though that's supposed to be a moon and not a sun. Okay, this one I actually have to shift. Now we're driving, before we even go up any hills or anything, we're driving on raycast. We're not driving on wheel colliders. So this is kind of what I wanted to test. Believe it or not, I haven't actually drove this around to test it on rough terrain yet. Only in my test scenes. And this is like the, I guess, first proving grounds. Just showing that the tires aren't falling through the ground yet. They might poke through every now and then because they're not fully 100% tuned, okay? Nor is this vehicle. But I do want to see if I can creep down in this area. I didn't put water in the scene so that I could do things like this. Obviously, I could have made it crawl across the water and all that crap, but I wanted it to actually have something to go down in and need to climb up. Now, it's important. I'm not doing anything on the tires and everything to give it slip. So, like, it doesn't see this as mud or anything, is what I'm trying to get at. But it does see this as an incline, and that by itself is a challenge. But there is grip and stuff on the tires and everything, but you can basically look at it as it's driving over the terrain and it sees the terrain as if it was all pavement or all dirt. It doesn't distinguish between those right now. And that's because this is its first test of it needs to first be able to go up an incline before we make it any harder, you know? And going up it with this bright ass sun right here, I should have made these fold down. Oh, it actually might not even struggle. Okay. Also, this one can coast. So like the engine isn't going to bog it down when it's not under throttle or anything. That's on purpose right now. I wanted to see how well this thing could actually roll because like I said, this thing is not actually on a wheel collider. It's on lasers, bro. Very advanced ones too. Shit, that's bright. Probably should do something about that sun. And it's really just going up this incline like it's nothing. I thought it would struggle a little bit. This is what's good about having my front bumper camera on right now is because I can't really see over this hood. You know, just like in real life, that incline like that would have been difficult to see. And we can kind of see the dirt here. I don't know if I got that camera too low to the ground, to be honest, but it works. We can kind of tell better here on this screen than we can in front of us, especially how bright this freaking sun is right now, bro. Let me do something about that. Yeah, I thought this was supposed to be a moon. Oh, hold on. I forget it can roll. Wait, there's a park. Don't slide too much. Let me try to turn this down. Thing is, I didn't put headlights everywhere and everything like that on this because I was trying to keep a well-lit scene. I just didn't realize it was going to look so bright inside the vehicle compared to how it looks outside the vehicle. You know? We do have brakes, which is good. You can ignore the camera that's going to poke through when I orbit around. The steering was not easy to get working naturally either. It wanted to be fake arcadey, and it still could use a little bit, but right now it's pretty solid for what it actually is. We're just coasting down this. And I'm just going to shift up so that it's not going to be popping the rev limiter. Damn, it is bright as shit through here, man. How about that? Maybe that's a little better. At least we're not so blind. Man, this thing is so much quieter though. Just coasting. I guess this thing can drive though, man. Holy shit. It was not really made to be this kind of thing, but I mean, what the hell? Try to stay on the little trail here until we go all the way around. Don't flip over. That's one thing I didn't do. I didn't put a freaking way to reset it. I'll have to like stop and hit play again if I actually roll it upside down. I want to say though, this thing is actually driving pretty damn well, which when you put over 1,000 hours into something trying to get it to work, I mean, fuck. I'm at least happy that it's driving as well as it's trying to, man. Because this has not been easy at all. This thing doesn't really seem like it wants to get bogged down though, which is pretty good. I know that it can because I learned that in my testing. I can't really see right here. Holy shit. Going through this like it's a damn rally. And we're gonna land in a damn tree and I'm gonna get stuck, bro. You only live once. Holy, look at the mirror. Oh my god. Right into the trees. Okay, let's have a look at this. If I actually need to reset or if I can keep going. Wait. Man, you know what would be nice is if when I'm not recording, I don't really care about the camera like I do when I'm recording and paying attention to it. So I'm sorry if my camera annoys you. On the orbit one on the outside. I'm trying to keep it on the interior one so that it's at least mo better. I mean, I think I could just really drive anywhere. I mean, obviously, yeah, the way I've designed this map, I can. But I mean, I think this vehicle will let me pretty much go through anything. Which is pretty damn good, especially for what I'm designing. It needs to be able to handle things like this. Bro, this thing is like... I was going to say it's like butter. Right before I made it look like it wasn't. How do you do on this? Are you fine? Oh man, it's nothing for you. Let's run it in a high gear and see if it can just pull up this. Bro, it doesn't know what a hill is. That's not true, it actually does. I'm very impressed though on how well it can do this. Oh. Had to go down to go there. Curious what's over here to the right, because I know I didn't build anything over here, but I wonder if I can drive out there, or if it's just like we're gonna fall off in a crater. Huh? we'll just drive down and see how this goes. Man, I don't think the wheel colliders are going to be able to do this. I mean, I don't think so. As easy as this thing can drive up, oh man, and it's good at holding itself. Might be a little shaky when I'm holding it because it's like it feels the pressure, you see. But we can creep down this mountain. Wow. I'm actually surprised I got as good of control of it as I do, even sliding down. It's not like just sliding sideways to where I don't really have control like you've seen in other games and stuff, and even in some of my oh shit my tests. Like what I mean is, it's not like sliding like right here like this around in circles. I can actually control it. It's interesting because it feels more realistic. And I'm driving with just damn keys right now on a keyboard, which also isn't what I normally would play games as because this is work. Keyboard for me is for work. I need a controller or a wheel to not feel like work. That's the way my brain is programmed now, though, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't think we're going to have any problem going over wherever the hell this is. It's quite interesting, though, man. This thing is really able to go through things. And it has nothing to do with this vehicle. It has everything to do with what I have doing it. So, like, if you saw the 57 Bel Air, which you may have seen a clip of it already, the way that vehicle looks has nothing to do with how well it's going to drive to be able to handle this challenge or not. It doesn't need a giant lift or whatever. It's not like it's going to be high centered on things, you know. The ground for the most part, you know, is kind of smooth and out, and this ain't really that challenging of terrain. For a wheel collider, it might almost be, or it might be. I don't know. It's been a while since I've messed with wheel colliders, man. We're gonna find out soon. I would think it would be able to drive over these smoother things, but in my test scene that I haven't shown on other things, they could not do it, man. They they couldn't even climb stairs, which was a very big issue. Like that was the first thing I tried. They couldn't even do that, and I was like, "Wow, bro! You if you can't do that, what else can you not do?" And then I tried my raycast system on those stairs, and bro, it went over it like it was a damn ramp. Oh yeah, actually, the last time you saw this vehicle driving, it was probably flipping around when I hit play, you know, and not so smooth anymore, or not smooth like it is now. That was a different kind of raycast system on that as well. I was just trying to see what that was. Yeah, whatever that warning is, it's not for me. It's for something in the scene. Um, one thing I had a problem with, man, on this, I don't know why I put a parking gear on a standard, but I did. Well, I did it for a reason in my test scene. I needed it to be like setting still and not try to run away from me. Also, that wheel look like it's floating. Is it floating? Are you on the ground, bro? Don't be cheating. You're trying to be, if you're not. I had them sunk down in the ground a little bit at first. And the only thing about that is when you're going over certain things like the steps, that part of the tire is going to go through that step. Um, So it's kind of like, do you want it to look like the tires are flat without actually costing extra performance to design a tire to actually bend? Which these actually have something on them. You're not going to be able to tell this at all from any other driving I'm going to be doing here. But it actually has a marginal slide left and right on the tires to give it more of a realistic feel. I think you can kind of tell is the suspension is working in the mirror there. I mean, you can see that from the outside of the vehicle too. You see how the tires will go through for a minute there? That was the whole thing I was trying to avoid with the wheel colliders because that was a big issue with going over a lot of things. These have many lasers around, as you could tell here, um, to detect the radius of the tire here. And they're kind of hit and miss, depending on how fast you're going, what you're driving over, and everything. And also, this kind of system is not easy at all. It is super complex. However, it probably won't look like it here with my mirrors and everything running. But this, well, it's running at 40 frames. This compared to wheel colliders, I was running about 80 frames on having a plain scene, basic vehicle, and wheel colliders with maybe some other minuscule things. So we were already getting close to our 60 frames if that's what we were targeting, which I don't target a certain frame rate. Right now it's running at like 30 or 40 here. We're running at 40, and this looks fine. Like you don't notice that it's not super quick because we're not running around in a first person shooter or anything. But you can definitely tell when the frames are too low because you will actually see your lag and you will see things not looking so smooth, okay? When I use this raycast system here on a normal vehicle without fancy mirrors, without any other things working on it, I can get 260 frames a second with the one vehicle using the 4 rays here, which is quite impressive because that means I have all of that headroom to build whatever I want to build in it. Now, I would imagine if you had 1,000 vehicles in there running around, you're not going to get that, but you would have a better chance doing that rather than having wheel colliders because those add up very quickly, especially if you got a bunch of them driving around and stuff. And that's the important thing. Like, so what I was going to do with this vehicle next is hook up my boat with the trailer that I've talked about in videos. I was like, you want your backup camera here so you could look back and see your boat behind you. And I was going to actually be pulling my pontoon boat. We were going to drive it down to the water and unhook it and then get on that boat and drive it through the water. Instead of doing that, though, I built that 57 Bel Air and got it driving so that I would have something to compete with my system with. Um, that was more important because I need to get this thing more realistic driving than looking so arcadey, like kind of like this. But it used to be a lot worse. Like this thing would just spin in a circle when you were steering. The tires are kind of a little strange too with the rotate. They are not doing what I would want them to do exactly. That can be worked out. But minor things like that isn't what's important to me right now. What's important is the actual function. So without all the chit chat and everything, and we've seen how well that my raycast system handled this, which by the way, let's give it a round of applause because this was a dry test. I don't know if that's the right word there. Uh, it was a test that I was not prepared for. I knew what I designed here in the map. I knew what I designed here in my vehicle. I did not know the outcome that we just saw of it. The same goes for the Bel Air. The Bel Air may perform better. I would say it probably isn't going to. Not because I built this system and I'm rooting for myself. Obviously, I hope that's the case, that this is way better than the wheel colliders. But I don't think the wheel colliders are even going to be able to go up this hill, man. I mean, we can give it a lot of horsepower to see. I don't think they're going to have the traction. I think they're going to need a lot of fine tuning and stuff. You see, that it's important to know about this is while this is a certain kind of tune thing, it is not at its full potential. This is like an early phase of what this is going to be, the way this vehicle is driving. Those wheel colliders are Unity's thing that work very well with the Unity's physics engine because that is what they were designed for. So this will show me if I'm on the right path or if my shit is going to suck and those wheel colliders blow me out of the water. We're going to see in real time right now. What we're going to do is we're going to delete. I don't understand why that. I don't even want to hear that. Yeah, I don't mind if I just delete this engine and stuff, right? Because we don't. The sound of the vehicle is not what's important. What it can actually do is. Oh, fuck. We should have just deleted this engine as well because that ain't gonna fly. I was going to have to go in and disable that wind noise again. Silence? Okay. Whatever. With your ears and shit, bro. Give me the camera. I'm gonna move this in and I'm gonna see if I can put this thing into gear. Hopefully we can drive this thing. We drove it in the test scene, man. Okay, it moves. Very good. There's the cat again, bro. Is it on a timer? Is the cat on a timer, bro? Well, so far, I mean, this is doing decent. I'm a little distracted. I forgot we were going to go over that trail. I'm gonna try to do all the things I did with the other thing here. I mean, if it doesn't make it over this hill, there's not really a whole big point of going through everything. Not even going that fast, man. Oh, it's dropping. Is it gonna climb though? Oh, come on. I actually thought it would go up that hill. What if we get a little bit of speed? Wait, we might be able to make it up the other one over there. Man, this thing is hard to keep straight. Oh, man. Man, I did do a little bit of tuning with it before we dropped it in, but man, it is. It wasn't really made for all this off road stuff, I guess, huh? We're just kind of making it do it. It is unfortunate about the audio, man, but I wasn't going to work out for the next hour just getting that to work when simply what it's doing right now is what's going to show me if this thing is better or not. Or, about the same. Mm. It's not really booking it. And it can. It obviously can run. So this is like really bogging this thing down. And it's lighter than the Yukon was. Oh man, can you get up this? No, no, no. No, no, no. Oh gosh. I forget too. They have something there's a way I think that you can override it. But currently, as you can tell when the wheels start stopping going so far, currently whatever I have on this thing for its engine is not letting those wheels break loose and keep trying to climb it. That's part of an issue, but it should have enough power to get up this thing. What we'll do though, because I don't want it to look like it has failed, we're going to give this thing a lot of power. Give it like 2,000 more. As long as we drive it safely, that should be fine. This should let those wheels break free, right? Yeah, we can push it up this hill. Way more power than that Yukon had, but you gotta do what you gotta do, man. Oh man, this is pretty steep though. Come on! Oh gosh. Hmm. Well, horsepower isn't everything. Traction is. That's something you need. We'll try the other way again. I mean, and then I will give it another 4,000 horsepower. This is a good thing I did mute the audio, though, because this thing would be screaming with all this power and the torque that it currently has now. I mean, this thing would have just been yelling. I think it's got a chance. It's not as stable, which is surprising me, man. Like, I'm having to steer a lot more, it feels like, with this. Oh, yeah, you got it. You can make this. Keep going. No. Come on. You're going to need like 1,000 more horsepower, and then you might got it. Okay? And I'll give it to you. Actually, I will give you... Oh, crap. I'll double it. Shit, man. I got to get this thing... Like, it's not going to get it from going slow like this, I'm pretty sure. It doesn't even want to go up right and drive. And that Yukon had no problem doing that. So that's a positive. I mean, I'm on the right track with how I'm getting that thing driving. This thing is insane now, bro. Oh, I'm glad you didn't flip upside down. That would have sucked. Let's try this again. I mean, we just keep throwing more horsepower at it, and I'm pretty sure it can do it. You got this. You got this, bro. Gosh, you're falling quick. All the horsepower in the world might not get you there. It will. Oh, shit. Not. Let's give it 8,000, bro. 8,000 torque, man, and this thing should really want to try to. I'm going to still give it a running thing. We're just coasting downhill right now, by the way. I'm not on the throttle at all. Oh my gosh. I think this thing coasted better than my Yukon, though. Or my Raycast system. It has a name, but I don't want to say the name. Oh, look at those RPMs on the steering wheel. They don't even fit anymore. So let's not look at them too close. Just know that I wasn't joking when I added more power. The proof is in the digital numbers. Oh, this thing isn't really running faster, man. It's like spinning those tires way too much. Yeah. You can only get away with so much power, and then you need to address your traction. Which, I mean, I could. But that's the thing. I mean, out the gate, mine was ready to go. This one should have had the same amount of chance. It's also interesting that this thing isn't overheating. Because earlier, it was quite a bit. If I stay in the throttle, yeah, it's going to keep climbing. Man, we're going to blow this brand new engine day one. Holy shit, man. This thing can run now, though. I mean, of course it can. As long as it can keep the wheels on the ground, it could anyway. We'll try it around here a little bit, see how it can handle. I mean, because as you could tell with that other one, I was able to just drive up mountains and stuff. I don't think that's the case with this. There's too much friction. Or there's not enough friction. What I meant. There's too less of friction. On the sideways, as why I was sliding a lot. But technically, it did have enough friction. The torque it has now doesn't care and is just going to push through that. You know, there's a lot of things I could tweak to make this thing do it. Adjusting the mass on everything, center of mass. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot. Okay. But the fact that mine pushed through so easily compared to this is a good sign. Because I honestly thought mine was not even going to stand a chance. I mean, I thought it would stand a chance, but I didn't know it was going to be this much of a difference. And this isn't like, I mean, this is a stock Unity wheel collider, but there have been adjustments made to them by me to give it what it should have needed to be able to do this. Other than giving it way more power than it ever should have. You know? So yeah, that was I guess our first test there with my system against wheel colliders. Wheel colliders are good if you're doing a racetrack type thing and most low key kind of things. I don't say that to sound like I'm saying you're not designing anything incredible. What I'm building is very challenging kind of stuff. But I'm only going to continue doing that if I can get something that can actually complete the challenge, or else I'm building something that's impossible to beat. And the way the wheel colliders are in Unity, even when I've done some very advanced tuning to them in all kinds of different ways, they have not been able to perform very well in the test scene at all. As in, they fail on like the first thing. And they fell on the other things that I let them skip ahead to try as well. The car was doing pretty well. The wheel colliders were. I think they got up to like this point. I don't know if they ever made it up to this second part, but I mean, if they did, this other hill here, you see, that was a thing. This is kind of like a tricky one. It had to climb, so it's inclining. It gets a little bit of a rest, and then it's inclining again here, and it kind of like rounds out a little bit, but at the same time, this is still going uphill quite a bit. And once you get here, you know, if you don't have it, like if you're struggling with any of that below, you're not going to make this. And that was the reason why I designed this as a test scene for this piece right here. Very easy to tell what it could do and what it couldn't do. Such a simple little incline, but gave it a little bit of some challenges in a very unique way. With visually, you didn't really notice it until you're looking at it like this. And going downhill, which was kind of something I was curious. I might put the car up here to see how well it does going downhill. It may need more than that. We'll see. It actually may not. Okay. Hopefully you can hold yourself up. That's another thing, man. I didn't even have to increase the brakes or anything on the other vehicle. Oh gosh, where's reverse? No! Brakes! We're on them. Are the tires locked up though? They are locked up and it's just sliding. So yeah, we would have to increase the traction on quite a bit to get it to hold itself. That could be done. And did I not change my SSR on this? Seeing those black specks. It isn't important. That's not what this is about. Yeah, it would need more friction. I could increase that. Just so someone's not like, why didn't you try to increase it just a little bit? I will. I should increase these other values too, but I'm not going to. And the reason is, I've in another scene seen what a wheel collider is capable of doing and not doing, and it took a long time to see what it was, where its limits were. and pushing it with a professional kind of tune, I mean, you find out real easy, depending on what you've built. So yeah, it's trying a little bit harder. The thing is, though, if you increase your traction and increase your traction and increase your traction, what do you think is going to happen when you're trying to steer, bro? Your car's just going to flip over like a barrel roll unless you loosen up the side friction. I mean, there's a limit to everything. A limit to giving it just all the horsepower in the world, giving it all the friction in the world. There's fine-tuned limits of it, you know. This is actually a kind of cool little road, man. Like, it came out better than what I thought it was going to be because I literally slapped this together in less than 20 minutes on designing the little pathway for it. It did not take much thought because I was really focused on, am I going to be able to get that Bel Air driving in time to actually test this in the same day before I go to bed? And I did. I threw it together. Then before I even hit play to test it, I think I started recording. Man, it is nice to see this thing driving around though, man. Like, it's not really the scene for it, but at the same time, I mean, come on. This is kind of cool. To just be cruising through the trees and everything, on a little dirt trail, going up to a nice little spooky house. The little things are going to chase us away in our car. We have to drive to get away. Then something comes up out of the ground and destroys our car, and we get flung from the car. And then we're running on foot. It's not about to happen. Bro, if it did right now, though, that would have been crazy. But I also would have questioned, why did I waste my time doing that for video when I could have actually built a cool new mechanic? Oh no, it didn't even make that? Oh, well. Regardless of it passing or failing the more difficult challenges, this is a solid thing, wheel colliders, for most cases. Okay? They're going to fail you in a lot of areas, but if you know how to counter that, they'll be mostly fine. I mean, you can drive this car. It's not like it's impossible to drive this car with them. You know, it can go over bumps and everything just fine. These little ones, anyway. You know, it's drivable, and had it not been what I was building, I would have just used wheel colliders. I may still use them on certain things. There's just a certain thing where they will fail me 100% in a certain thing, and I either have to change what I'm going to do or create something like I've been trying to create. Overall, man, I mean, how often do we get to see the 57 Bel Air drive around? Actually, never. This car here has never been driven other than the videos that you have just seen. I built it, and it has been one of those little hidden gems that I keep aside for things like this, that I can just pull out to have a nice fresh view of seeing something very iconic driving around as I work out very difficult things. It's only for eye candy, really. The car itself, the actual things that's happening underneath is what's important, and it's the whole purpose of this. Also, recording these videos helps me see what I forgot, because I start working on something else and forget entirely everything that I was working on. Like, the last time I saw the blue whale was the last time y'all saw the blue whale in a video. I haven't been back in that scene doing anything. Well, I want to say there was something I was going to do, but I don't remember if I did. I got sick for like a week, so I didn't ever get back to whatever I had left off on before I got sick. I could go in there and see something incredibly different that I forgot that I did, but currently nothing comes to mind. Um, and as soon as I get this system working to a passable state, because I mean, like these right here drive around just fine for the most part, and I could even have a game that use this and it would be okay. There are other things the vehicle's got to do other than just drive around that I'm trying to get working properly, is why they would fail me. But I am showing that the wheel colliders do work. You know, it obviously these are Unity's things, so they should work in its engine like this. And they'll probably be updated, I'm sure, at some point in the future. I would imagine, maybe. We would hope. Regardless, though, I can't wait for something like that. And anything that I've seen in the asset store and everything was a giant fail. When I tested it on my stuff, it would not work. And so, you know, I had to build my own system. It will have engine audio again, though. Now, I was looking at those tires a lot when I was driving that other one. As you can see, these are rolling too fast, even at a slow thing. It's kind of hard because I'm going downhill to show you that, but oh wow, this thing is actually trying to spin around to get the heavier part of it down. But you can hold yourself, right? Yeah, you kind of can. You don't want to stay straight, which is something I'll have to fix, but you hold yourself up. Huh? Do you? You're slipping. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna walk down? Look at that. Okay. So yeah, it's like this steep hill here that we just went over. If I like went back and tried to drive up it, whoa, without getting a head start, would I be okay too? Yeah, this thing just which it has been made for something like this. It's just nice to see that it's able to do it. If it was slipping too, I have ways I can, or some easy things that I can adjust to give it more traction. The traction is actually turned way down right now because the traction is very sensitive. And the fact that it can just go up this, and also the more I increase traction, the more I have to lower my horsepower, because then this thing just grabs and goes. My very first test on this thing, I hit 500 mile an hour because it just didn't know what a governor was, I guess. And this Yukon, and it was insane in this thing driving that fast, even on a straightaway. And also, it was doing that at triple digit frames, so it wasn't like lagging the system, which was very impressive. Man, this is a very steep drop. I think I said there was something I was going to climb again or try to. We obviously know it could climb just about anything, though, out here. Which, me being the designer, I'm actually surprised myself. I didn't know it was going to just handle it like it was made for it. Kind of shows that my testing scenes have been paying off, though. And I'm not just crazy building insane things like, can it do this? Something like this giant area has never been the size of any of my test scenes before, though. So this is kind of a new thing that is pretty fun to have. Oh, maybe it was like going left and hitting the, which we're in third gear. So that wasn't really, yeah, it would still slide down. But once it's straightened out, man, it's just going to climb it. Did I hide any animals out here? I didn't, but I did think about it. But it was kind of like the boat thing. I was like, don't waste your time doing this. But golly, I had an amazing idea. And it would have been so cool, but I didn't do it. Look at this, man. This is this is pretty cool. Oh, are we gonna? Oh, shh! Don't flip. Hold on to it, bro. Man, you actually get a kind of a feel. I mean, maybe it's just me, but I feel like I'm up in the mountains right now, looking down at that. This thing would stop trying to turn sideways, bro. I shouldn't even be mad though. This thing did better than I thought it would. Not bad for my first try. My first try that took 1,000 hours. I wish I was exaggerating that amount of hours, but I'm not. Anyway, man, I think that was a good thing to check out and see. And now we have this cool little test scene. I'm sure I'll come back to it to try out some other cool things. I mean, imagine what the blue well would look like here, but at the same time, the blue well is so massive that it wouldn't make sense in this scene. You see how wide this road is compared to this, and the wheel on that thing is like probably this is probably a tire track of one of them, you know? So it wouldn't really fit. But the G-Roy might be something I bring in here to drive on this because that would be cool. Yeah. It's actually what I was going to test because it already has wheel colliders on it. And being as it has 8 wheels, I had a very good idea of what its performance was going to be costing overall. And testing that against this raycast system would be pretty cool if I could apply that system to it because, man, I can't imagine what it would be like driving out here with that thing. So much fun, just like it's going to be in the real game, but test scenes are fun too, man, because you get an idea of the kind of vast world that I'm going to design. I also get this idea, and we can kind of see together of like how cool it's going to be to travel around in it, you know. until next time, I guess is what I say. Adios.